With summer just around the corner, I wanted to show you guys how I satisfy my sweet tooth with some high volume, high protein desserts. All these desserts are under 400 calories and have a minimum of 25 grams of protein. And for number one, we're starting off with Pete's Protein Chia Pudding Thingy Majiggy. So starting off, you're going to notice that all these recipes, if you can even call them recipes, are super quick and easy to do. So for our Chia Yogurt Pudding Thingamajig, we're going to need a glass jar or bowl to start with, and then we're going to put in 250 grams of yogurt. The choice of yogurt doesn't matter, however, it is important that the container you make this in is made out of glass and not plastic. Next, we're going to add half a scoop of protein, 10 grams of chia seeds, 5 grams of psyllium husk, and I also like to add a teaspoon of cocoa, but this is optional, I just love cocoa. Next, I add 75 grams of milk. I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to actually measure milk or the units, but I use grams and it's 75 grams. I then give it a little mix before adding the final ingredient, 100 grams of blueberries. Then you just want to shake it up and pop it in the fridge, and you want to leave it for about 2 to 3 hours for it to thicken up. However, just like they used to do on the telly.
And welcome to Here's One I Made Earlier.
Here's one I made earlier. And I've put it in a glass to make it look nice. Let's do a quick taste test. Oh, it tastes good. So what makes this pudding thick as well as quite unique is the adding of the psyllium husk. And if you've not heard of psyllium husk before, it offers quite a few benefits, such as lowering cholesterol, improving heart health, improving your blood pressure, as well as improving weight management. The psyllium husk acts as a thickening agent, sucking out all the liquid in the pudding. It kind of gives it like a cheesecake kind of texture. And finally, because psyllium husk contains a lot of fiber, this is actually really filling and really satiating. I actually fell down a bit of a psyllium husk Reddit rabbit hole while making this video, and I found that some people actually take a teaspoon of psyllium husk 30 minutes before they eat, and apparently that helps them with their weight management, and some people have lost a lot of weight doing that, which I thought was pretty interesting. Next up, we have the bodybuilder classic protein ice cream. Now, I made this on the channel quite a few years ago, but since then I've tweaked it a little bit, and now I rotate between 2 different recipes because I'm a pretty fun guy. Recipe number 1 is Pete's strawberry packed protein pudding pop. Now, probably the most important thing before you attempt to make protein ice cream is that you need a decent blender. You're not going to be able to do this in one of those little NutriBullet things. Get yourself a big boy. Now, into the blender, you want to put a full tray of ice, but I just put in about half first, then a handful of spinach. Believe it or not, you can't taste spinach, so I always chuck it in my smoothies. You also can't taste avocado or carrots either very much, but we're not going to put those in our protein ice cream. Then I'll put in 200 grams of strawberries, the other half of the tray of ice, 1 scoop of protein powder, and then 150 grams of water, which once again, I don't know how you measure liquids, but I do about 150 grams. And finally, xanthan gum, which is similar to psyllium husk. This is a thickening agent, and it's going to turn your smoothie more into a protein ice cream. So when the mixture is blended, it looks like this, and it kind of resembles really soft ice cream, but just look at the volume you get for 160 calories. Now, you could just eat it like this, kind of like a smoothie bowl, but I personally like to chuck it in the freezer for about 30 minutes, and then it comes out like this. And I've left it in the freezer too long. So it just hardens up a little bit and is nice and cold, but it's still pretty much like soft ice cream. Now, this is actually my second recipe. So it's basically the same recipe, but you switch out the strawberries for 1.5 frozen bananas. And I state that the bananas should be frozen, as they seem to thicken up a lot nicer than if you just put them in fresh. Opposite to the chia pudding, you're going to want to put this in a plastic Tupperware, as if you put it in glass or something like that in the freezer, it ends up sticking to the sides and it's just a bit of a nightmare. This is probably the point in the video where I say that I find that these taste a lot nicer than they look now that I'm filming them on camera, but it tastes nice. Now, as this whole thing is only around 150 to 250 calories, depending on if you had strawberries or bananas, you could add some toppings like granola or cereal on top to add a little crunch. And you could also switch out the water for milk as well, which makes it a bit more creamier and tastier. But I just wanted to show you the minimum calorie version. It's obviously easier to add calories to something. Leading us on to the final meal, which some people I don't think are going to be too happy about, but it's Pete's Protein Party Oats. Now, I know you don't all need to be shown how to make oatmeal, but I do have a way to make it a little bit more voluminous. So for this, you're going to put 70 grams of oats into a pan, as well as a scoop of protein and a pinch of cocoa and cinnamon if you like, as well as some water. I actually don't measure the water in my oatmeal because I'm crazy. So I'm not quite sure about the wizardry behind this, but if you cook oatmeal and then leave it for about 30 minutes, all the water kind of gets absorbed and sucked in by the oats. So then when you recook it, you have to add more water, and it basically doubles the amount of volume of the oatmeal. And this whole bowl is only about 400 calories and has 30 grams of protein. And because like psyllium husk, oatmeal has a lot of fiber in, it's actually really satiating and leaves me very full. Oatmeal also contains an amino acid called tryptophan, which is most commonly known for being in turkey, which promotes sleep sleepiness, which is why I think having a big bowl of oatmeal before bed not only is really satiating and leaves you full, it also actually makes you more sleepy. Okay, that's going to be it for another video. I hope you're not going to judge me too harshly for saying oatmeal is a dessert, and I'll see you guys in the next one.